Sometimes you see some news headlines and you just go, what in God's name is happening here? Now take a look at this headline. You can't help but ask yourself, what is a 15 years old child doing in a situation where he or she can be accused of these kinds of offenses? 22 sexual offenses. 22. Now I'm talking about things like 12 counts of sexually assaulting a female, 3 counts of assaulting a girl under 13 by touching, 1 count of raping a girl under 13. He was also accused of 1 count of assaulting a female aged 13, either by penetration with a part or of his body or with something. 1 count of raping a girl aged 13 to 15. 2 counts of making an indecent photograph of or pseudo photograph of a child. He was further charged with possessing prohibited images of a child and another of possessing an extreme pornographic image. This case was so bad that the judge said, your case is too serious to be tried in this court. Now imagine that. Think about that for a minute. A 15 years old child. Now if you take that news and you add it to the statistics that I'm about to show you, and these statistics are from research, from peer-reviewed, well-researched documents. A survey of 1,000 teenagers aged 14 to 17 found that more than half, that's about 55%, had already seen sexual or violent content that was not suitable for their age. Some said they weren't even looking for these things, that these things would just pop up on their computers or on their phones without any warning. Another survey of more than 1,300 teenagers aged 13 to 17 found that most had watched violent pornography online. Some had first seen it when they were as young as 10 years old and even younger. Worryingly, to add to that, almost half of those children believed that pornography gives them helpful information about sex, even though it often presents unrealistic and unhealthy ideas about relationships and intimacy. It has also been shown in multiple research that teenagers who are exposed to pornography are about 3 times more likely to become involved in unhealthy or problematic sexual relationships. And the most worrying one, in my opinion, is that more than half of teenagers, about 57% of teenagers, say they have never talked about pornography with a trusted adult. That means younger people are trying to make sense of, what's happening to their bodies, what's changing around them, and for some reason, they are unable to get the guidance or the reassurance that they would need from a trusted adult. So, I'm sure when you see these headlines, your mind goes, well, not my teenager. They might be talking about other teenagers. Definitely not my teenager. I guess the statistics I've just reeled out from proper research is a gentle call for you to think about that position again. More than half of the children surveyed. But it's not just all bad news, because there's a good news that I'm going to drop in the mix now. And that good news is simply that if you are a parent, the fact remains that you have more influence over your young person than you think you do. You have more influence, more leverage to change and shape the future of your child, far more than any online content or any malicious or evil people might want to do to them. And that's the good news. And that's why I'm going to focus in this video on the things you can do. What you really need to be able to make that change is where to look and how to react. So in this video, you're going to look at 5 signs that your teenager may already be accessing pornography, how you would respond without pushing them further away, and practical steps to protect your teenager before pornography begins to rewire their brain. There are loads of research that is not just entertainment, it does something very dangerous to their young developing brains. So let's go straight into it. The first thing to do is, where do you look? Where do you start? What signs do you look out for to be able to help you know if your teenager is either already assessing these things or is on a path to assessing these things? Number one, follow the phones. Their phone use behavior would be your greatest clue to knowing if they've started accessing these dangerous contents. Questions like, are they being secretive about how they use their phones? Always hiding when they're using their phones, using passwords, protecting everything, dropping their phones. Anybody touches the phone and they get jittery and trying to stop people from touching their phones. Do they stay awake long into the night? What are they doing in their rooms when they are awake in the night? Do you notice mood change and anger whenever you try to put restrictions to their phone use? Do they always find ways around blocking or circumventing all your parental measures that you put in place? Do they have multiple hidden apps on their phones? Follow the phone. The clue is most likely in how they access online things. And because that phone is that mini computer in their hand, if you observe carefully how they use the phone, you would pick up a lot of things. Number two, are you observing any sudden change in their behavior towards relationships, about how they talk about the opposite sex? When you start hearing crazy jokes about girls, if you're talking about boys, or you start hearing crazy jokes about boys if you're talking about a girl, do they present in a more adult way? This sudden change and they start behaving more like adults. Those are signs that begins to show you that they might be knowing or learning more than you think they are. The other thing to look out for is, how do they react when you maybe by accident come across some things that you expect to surprise them? So maybe you're watching a movie and some people go into some very deep kissing. How do they react? Are they desensitized by sexual content, things that you're driving and you see a billboard that is clearly a bit explicit? How do they react? The fourth thing you need to look out for is changes in their behavioral pattern, their sleep pattern. Oftentimes when your children start telling you they can't sleep at night or they stay awake late into the night, something is happening. Their behavior towards their siblings might actually start changing too. Being a bit secretive about the things they do, not telling you things, being uncomfortable around other people. These are all pointers to things that might tell you all you need to know. And the fifth one, which is very important, and a lot of parents would agree with me, is your gut feeling. Now, a lot of people underrate the gut feeling of a parent. It tells you a lot. When you feel like something is out of place, trust me, 98% something is actually out of place. Trust your gut feelings. Now, you've gone through all of these signs and you've realized that your young person might actually be accessing online pornography. What do you do? I'm sure that's what some people are waiting for. Yeah, you found that out. How do you react? The first thing you must do is you must be calm in how you react, because whatever you've found, there's this iceberg theory that I like to tell people, parents about. Whatever you've found is just a tip of the iceberg. If you've seen that they might be accessing, I don't know, AI charts or whatever, there's deeper things happening underneath. And what you do not want to do is to lose them to some irrational or some excessive reaction. So at that point, control yourself. If you think you're not in the best mood to engage with them, take some time out. Take a breather. And when you're in the best state of mind, talk to them calmly. Help them to understand that what's happening to them is normal. These are teenagers who are growing. Different aspects of their body is developing. Their body is demanding these things. And because they've not been able to engage with the right channel of communication, they're trying to find answers. So let them understand that what's happening to them is normal. What is not normal is where they are looking for the answers. Feel free to apologize if you've not been kind, if you've not presented yourself in a way that they could confide in you, because that clearly might be the next line of work that you need to engage in. Have you presented yourself in a way that your young person feels free to be able to talk to you about anything? So let them understand calmly that what's happening to them is fine, is normal, but where they are getting their answers might not be the right place. One line that always works between me and my daughter is I always remind her that we as your parents like what is best for you. Like if there's one person that you can not doubt that they want what is best for you, I think it should be your parents, because I mean, we've kept you for this long. So trust me. And one of the reasons why they might not be confiding in you is because of the way you've reacted in the past. And so you need to calm yourself and have this calm, careful conversation, knowing full well that there might be more underneath that you need to reach before you can help them solve whatever they're dealing with. It's possible that they've gotten to a point of addiction. And if all you do is to attack the symptoms you've seen, you're never going to get the results. The second thing is that conversation needs to be a normal conversation. Don't create some lecture scenes or some serious conversation out of it. Make it as normal and as casual as possible. One thing that always works is taking a walk. Take that young person on a walk. Engage with them at their level through a normal conversation. And like I said, you're trying to get to the root and the core of that iceberg. What's underneath? How far have they gone? And then you can start helping them from there. You need to also teach them critical thinking, because yes, they have all of these biological and genetic demands on their body. Critical thinking allows them to properly examine the actions they're about to take, the things that are presented to them online, all of these things happening to them. Critical thinking allows them to weigh their options properly and oftentimes come to the right decision. Now, helping them think critically is an entire topic of its own. But I mean, you could always find content online to help you develop that. The next thing you should do is you need to put practical safeguards in place. Age appropriate parental controls. You can enable safe search on their computers or on their phone. You keep devices out of bedrooms at night. This is a key one that is very easy to reach. You should have device curfew in your house. There's no reason why your young people should have computers in their bedroom at night. There's no reason why they should take their phones into their room. In fact, a good thing you can do is to have a locker somewhere where once it's time to hand in their phones, the phones are put straight in that locker and locked up and the key kept somewhere. Familiarize yourself with the apps that are on your child's phone. Some of these apps would look innocent, but if you research and understand what's happening behind them, you would understand what these apps are meant for. What kind of VPNs does a young person have? Why do they need VPN? These are conversations you need to have with them, and you need to understand how these things work. Now, all of these measures and all of this tech that I've talked about are good, but they only work when they are matched or balanced with proper trust and communication. And that takes me back to the first point of having a calm conversation. Now, you need to develop a culture of open conversation with your young person. Now, those conversations would come a bit awkward when you start, but with time, they become easier to have. I've had instances where I sat my daughter down and asked her, what do you understand by the word pornography? It will shock you how much they know about these things. So have open communication with them that would then build that trust that would help you help them properly. Now, this is very important. This last point is very important. You need to insist on making home the safest place to talk. Have you turned your home into like a war zone where the children are always being screamed at for anything they do? Or is it a place where children come home and feel, I'm home, and it's a safe place to have open conversations? A good thing that makes home a safe place to talk is eating together or spending time together, playing games, doing things together. As you have those family times and those things together, young people begin to open up depending on the kind of conversations you have with them. Again, you need to understand that your young person might know far more than you think they know. Whatever you're seeing might just be a tip of an iceberg. Your responsibility as a parent is to try to get to the core of what is actually happening so that you can calmly help them get workable solutions. And that calmness comes through careful, open communication with your young person. You need to learn to make that communication a lifestyle and a habit. Hopefully you found this video very helpful. I will appreciate it if you will be kind enough to like and share, because that will help the video to get to other parents who might need it. Also, I'd like you to follow and subscribe for more videos based on parental advice to help teenagers thrive in today's digital and challenging world. I would also like to hear from you in the comment section. What's the biggest online challenge you're currently facing with your teenager? I'd like you to tell me. I like to know. What are you dealing with? What's the most difficult challenge you're currently going through in terms of online use of tech with your teenager? Thank you very much for now, and I'll see you again in the next video.